understand the context of how we evolved and understand there was a necessity to create alternative impulses that would motivate us to care for each other, because we needed the group, we needed the clan. Because if you went out as an individual, number one, you weren't likely to have sex with anything, and number two, you weren't as going to be equipped to survive the attack of the beasties that would be all out there looking to pick you off. There was strength in numbers, and evolution changed us because of that fact. We evolved to that fact. And so it's not just a simple equation. What we selfishly desire sometimes is what is the best for somebody we love, somebody we care for, something we feel attached to, are possessive of. It's still selfish in a way, but it's we can intellectually understand it as being closer to the ideal of understanding that all things merit this concern. And that's, like I said, when you become a real thinker, is when you understand that love is a silly word to use. The big word to use is respect. You must understand what something is. Respect what it is. Respect its capacity, and afford it the treatment, the fair, equitable treatment it deserves. That's the logic, what logic dictates. So then your life gets focused not on, at least the philosophy gets focused, and any argument about social policy or anything else that's going to be argued in this context gets focused on the net product. How does it affect the community of sentient creatures? Because that's going to be one of the other logical conclusions, that what matters isn't white people, it isn't human people, it isn't primates, it's any creature that can manifest a positive or negative sensation, a sense that has a flavor of pain or pleasure. Once you have that creature, you have something entitled to respect as a feeling creature. Because logically, I think, you can't get more deep as a philosophical premise than that suffering, the capacity to be harmed, is the fundamental value in the universe. Nothing else matters. It is just how that is used, how that is expended. Alright, finishing up. Jeez, all kinds of trouble. Anyway, inside the gazebo. It's nice out here. Anyway, so where were we? Not sure, but let's just focus on the bee thing, the idea that Nick's, I always had a kind of a problem arguing this with Nick, but, there is this capacity to separate our feelings from our thoughts. We don't have to talk when we do philosophy about what we feel. We can talk about what we think, what we understand, how we understand the model to work, the model of the universe, the model of evolution, the model of a human brain and consciousness. And even though we can't explicitly define exactly how the real texture of this sensation thing manifests, we understand it as it exists. We understand why it exists, because it's a motivating capacity, desire, and feeling good or feeling bad. It's a way of directing, reproducing, and consuming organisms in directions that will maximize their consumption and reproduction, and that's why we have it. And the idea of having an intelligence that can logically model the universe, that can understand how the environment is working, and be able to calculate and make determinations and anticipate, is going to be intrinsically valuable. And we're going to be directed by that, by the logic of the reality, of just the way that it is a cause and effect universe, by some very simple rules that underlie the basic structure. And we can understand those rules and understand how to function and how to maximize what we're doing, how we're interacting in this arrangement. And we can have but there's no having the conversation. There's no point in talking about economics or politics or any other subject without reference to that context, because the context is fundamentally important. Because if you don't get that context right, then you're not going to understand what we're here to fight for, what we're here to function for. And if you think we're here to function to satisfy your stupid natural desire, well, then you're an idiot. It's just that simple. It's more complicated than that. There's a whole bunch of desire in the world. And the solution is to maximize how you affect all of that sentience, not how you affect just yours. It's foolish on its face, and we can call it something that we have intellectually understood to be a bad thing, and we can call it selfish. Selfish is stupid. It's an idiot's way of living. Sorry, it's clouds distracting me over there. It just looks lower than it should be. It looks like it's right hanging out with the tree where you can't see it. Never mind. Yeah. So, but you can't have the conversation on one of these stupid floors of depth. I mean, if you understand the truth, there's no point in having a moron conversation. The more important conversation is to have the conversation that gets the person to understand how the thing functions. To argue it from their dysfunctional perspective, this is completely defeating. There's just no point in doing it that way. Sorry, there's a cat under the house, I guess. He's clunking around back there. Oh, it's you. What the hell are you doing back there? You get yourself in trouble, you idiot. Oh, anyway. No, you can't come in here. You have to do something else. So you're going to poke holes in it. I know you will. So you're looking to poke a hole. Saying, well, how do I poke a hole in this thing? This is going to be a big problem. So anyway, I guess if I don't let him in, then he's going to... I'm sorry. He's going to try to figure out a way to get in. You want to come in? No, apparently not. Jesus. Go over there. Yes, he's going to lie down his spot. That's good. He's a good cat. He really is a high-quality cat. His cats go. It's quality cat goods. Somebody ought to adopt him. I guess I'm a pretty shitty housemate. But anyway, that's beside the point. So that's that personal A stuff that really... I mean, it's fun to talk about now and then, but yeah, if you're going to be a philosopher, you're really not going to bother with this A stuff. This A stuff is not the meat. The meat is understanding you're a fucking psychology, a motivated psychology. And all of that motivation has been created by crude forces. There's not one bit of good in there. Okay, it is all crap. Even love is crap. All right, you might think it's beauty is crap. It's a subjective, completely controlled by arbitrary and erroneous nonsense, and substantially controlled by dumb, crude nature. This fucking beastie thing that creates all this mayhem, all these organisms eating each other and whatnot. That's created some sense of what's pretty. Like, listen to those little birds doing their little tweeting. It has nothing to do with birds doing a little pleasant sound. It has to do with birds communicating with other birds, okay? And maybe even talking about where they can go to kill something. I mean, there are little dinosaurs flying around the trees looking for something to you know, horror, you know, to mess up. So understand what that sound is. Just because it sounds like an attractive sound doesn't mean anything. It's only attractive for very crude reasons to us, based on our evolution in the context of our maturation and how we're conditioned. So yeah, that A stuff is crap. The only thing that matters is understanding that that crap exists in your head. It's going to try to influence you. It's going to try to change the color of your eyes and make you see pink and pretty and nice and love and blah, blah. And it's going to delude you. It's going to fool you. The truth is in understanding that manipulation and understanding that your intelligence is capable of seeing past it. It's capable of rising above all of this shit, seeing you, seeing the gazebo, seeing the cat, seeing the whole world from some bigger, broader perspective, and recognizing that it's not about you. That you're just a player in a big, giant maze of shit. And you've got to take responsibility as an intellect, as an individual conscious brain goo moving through this world. You're responsible, whether you want to be or not. You're going to be responsible for having an impact. There's going to be a final equation to define the value of your fucking existence on this planet. And that equation is going to be decided not by how much you loved, or how much you had good intentions, or any of that other bullshit. It's going to be a hard, cold calculation. And your life might be shit for some reason, because you did a good thing. You saved a guy's life, but unfortunately he turned out to be a child molesting asshole. Some kind of thing like that. Yeah, and that's the truth of it. We live in a very complex society, you know, but it's simple rules. And all we have to do is build tools, and we can get closer and closer to the detail and understand more and more broadly consequence. And the end game philosophy is not pretty. It doesn't have anything nice to say about what's going on here. Because what's basically going on here is there's a piece of DNA in me that's programmed to reproduce itself. And to reproduce itself, it has to consume something else to do it. And that's bad programming. So it should be 2 videos, part 1 and 2. So yeah, it really pissed me off though. That first video I was really quick and coherent. And, yeah, I really got it right. But shit happens. So till next time.